leader for 21 years of thoughts of black men. You're going to be wrestling with men with a vision. And you're going to see so much black joy and black freedom and black love and black reflection as forces for good. Look forward to seeing you there.
My name is MC. They call me MC Cab if you knew me for a long time. Men with a Vision, men's
Okay, we
Thoughts of Black Men.
Thoughts of Black Men, which is the organization.
Thoughts of Black Men, the Men with a Vision.
Men with a Vision.
Thoughts of Black Men, Men with a Vision. Born and raised in Mount Vernon. Give you a little brief story about Mount Vernon for those who don't know about Mount Vernon. We're a Renaissance environment, 4 square miles, very city. We're not a town, we're a city, we have our own mayor. But very close knit, so coming up it was very very big on cultural awareness with the music. I mean very highly class music, and when we got into music in Mount Vernon, it was more kind of gritty, but also like with a Westchester flair to it, for a little better things in life, because Westchester is a little upper class than most boroughs and things of that nature. So we was exposed to little things from Heavy D being on in hip hop in the 80s and bringing celebrities around and stuff like that. So we was taking all that and absorbing all that energy and just incorporating it into our swag and our style, which gave us our own, I guess, little gumbo. And within that, me coming up within that, I just had no choice but to gravitate towards that culture as being a hip-hop artist myself, into music, and as a visual artist, as a drawer and a painter, something I've been doing all my life as well. So as I got older, throughout my life, I tried to render my service through humanity anywhere I can do it, especially with the kids, because it's very important for them to see somebody who's like them and been through the trenches like them, but can still do positive things with their life and use their talents and gifts to make a way for themselves. Because when I came up, I didn't know too many artists, especially not black artists. You know, there wasn't too many black artists for me to get mentored from. And then the people that we was looking at was people from our community and people in the street, and some was negative and some was positive. So as a young kid, you're trying to decide on which way to go. You know, you're still undecided and finding your way. So it's always a beautiful thing when you have somebody who's been down that path of the road and can help navigate a child when they're struggling and going through those things. So I just try to be that person to do that through my talents and my gifts. And basically, that's the vision. We're going to move forward and expand that vision and pay it forward. And that's what it's about.
How you doing? My name is Dice. I'm here with Thoughts of Black Men, Men with a Vision. I'm formerly incarcerated, and up until this point, I spent my entire adult life in prison. So I live in Mount Vernon, New York. You know, I'm the owner of this barbershop, Fleetwood Barbershop. And my parents, they worked diligently to move us, the 4 of us, out of the projects in Harlem. They worked 2 jobs apiece to get us out of the projects. And they moved us to Mount Vernon. My whole family moved to Mount Vernon. When we got to Mount Vernon, it was only 2 people of color living in the neighborhood that I was living in. You know, everyone else was pretty much Irish and Italian. So I was subjected to a lot of, you know, nigger jokes and things of that nature at a very young age. I really didn't understand it at the time, but the other person of color, which was one of my very good friends, you know, he understood it. And, you know, he became really close to me. We was like brothers. And he also introduced me to another side of Mount Vernon. So with that said, my parents moving me out of the projects to find a better place, a better start, I I turned around and ended up hanging in the very same buildings that they was trying to keep me away from, right here in Mount Vernon. You know, I came from a 2-family home, like I said, and 2 parents in my house, and you know, they was really on me. So, you know, being out in the street trying to impress people, you know, we had a house, and the people really had, they thought that we was rich. You know, the people that I started hanging with on the south side thought that we had money because, you know, we lived in a house. People that I was like them. So I would go out of my way to show them that I was like them, meaning, not meaning that they was bad, but some of them was hustling out of necessity. Some was doing things that they thought was out of necessity. And for me to be around and live in this house, it really didn't make sense. So I would go far and beyond to show them, you know, or get them to accept me, which led me to years and years of incarceration. And I believe that, you know, there was one thing that kept me out of this cycle, because I think I would have kept circling the drain like toilet water. It was a journal. I kept a journal in prison. I kept a journal for 7 years. For 7 years, I kept a journal. And, you know, I was getting in trouble a lot in prison. And it wasn't until this one particular time that I got in serious trouble in prison. And the sergeant came to my cell, and he had my journal in his hand. And he said, "This is very interesting." And he threw it to me. So instead of writing in it, I read it. I read the journal. And with me reading the journal, I saw all of my patterns, all of my cycles. So much of me was in that journal, I couldn't even believe that it was me. All the tools that I needed to change my life was right in this book.
I got into an accident where I was at an ATM, and when I went to this ATM, I was it was an outdoor ATM where I was withdrawing money like many or most of us do. But what I didn't know is as I started to withdraw this money, a car came from nowhere and ran into me. So I didn't know what happened. I bellowed. I was like, ah. And then as I started to fall backwards, I started to say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy holy name. And when I recovered, I was looking up at the Dunkin' Donuts that was right there, because this happened right across from the Old Brunswick Hospital, which is now an apartment complex. And when I looked up, I saw this Indian lady looking down at me with sad eyes. But then I heard my brother yell at me, "What's my phone code?" How am I supposed to know? I'm down, didn't know what happened. But I gave him the code, and then I heard him yell about to the woman that struck me to get away.
Thoughts
of black men live with a vision.
One more time.
Yep.
Thoughts of black men live with a vision.
That's perfect.